Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Geeks of the Coven. Today is being filmed in our office now / guest room, which I will reveal the reason for at the end of the video. Unless you already know me in real life, then you know. So today we're going to look over my book haul for my early birthday celebration. Part of the reason for the change up of rooms also relates to why we celebrated my birthday early. So again, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but we went and participated in the Houston Book Crawl. There were 18 different booksellers that participated in the Houston Book Crawl. They're all independent booksellers. We saw most of them. We didn't get to see all of them, but if you are seeing this right now and it is not yet April 30th and you live in the Houston area, you still have time to participate and get your name into a drawing. I will link in the comments or in the description area about the Houston Book Crawl. So we did visit plenty of stores. One of the last ones we stopped at was actually Buy the Books. We'll go, Murder by the Book, sorry. Not Buy the Book, that's a different store. We'll go in backwards order since that's how they're stacked over here in my bag from the weekend. So Murder by the Book is up first. My goal was to purchase 2 books from each store, at least 2 items. And I actually got 3 from the store. My boyfriend, Matt, you've seen him on the channel before. He found a Joe Goldberg novel. This is from the show You. So For You, Only You. I'm very interested to read this one. And I also picked up a middle grade read, and this is The Implorable Tales of Baskerville Hall. This is taking place in the Sherlock universe, where Sherlock is a kid going to an academy. And then because I love my spooky books, I had to get a spooky bookmark. So that is from Murder by the Book in Rice Village. It's one of our favorite stores. Then we also found, we actually got connected with a bunch of stores that we had never been to before or heard of, or some that are also newer. This one is called Class. It is a non-fiction bookstore over by one of the colleges. And I purchased 1 book, but I walked out with 2. I'll explain that in a minute. So this is Class. I love that they use their Bitmojis on their bookmarks and on their advertisement and their email sign-up list in the store as well. So I love that. I picked up Ways to Share Joy by Renee Watson. Some of my friends have been telling me about this, so I figured I should give it a read, and it might go to one of the middle schools, or if it's age appropriate, it might go into my own school library. Now here's how I walked out with 2 books. When I talked about working in a school, the owner asked if I was a teacher or a librarian, and when I said librarian, she says, "I've been waiting for one of you to walk in to give this to." James Patterson this month released a book with Matt Eversman. Eversman, sorry, it's 2 N's. Yeah, helps if I look at it right. But this book is called The Secret Lives of Booksellers and Librarians, because James Patterson is a huge supporter of booksellers and librarians. So because I was a librarian, I got gifted this, so it was just like an extra birthday gift. Yay! Oh, my stack is going to get too big if I put them continuously in front of the phone. Let's see. Our next store was, Kindred Spirits. This is actually one of the vendors. There we go. There's the right word. Got a brain today. One of our vendors with my school district, and we tried to visit them earlier this year, and they were closed that day. So I was excited that we got to actually go. So I do have a book from Kindred Spirits already, even though this was my first time actually getting to go. That book is actually in another place right now. It was gifted to me. In fact, I think I might still have it at work, maybe, or maybe it's in the living room. Anyhow, it was gifted to me by a librarian friend because I had offered to help fund getting an author visit at the old high school that I used to work for. that I thought the kids would enjoy and appreciate, so she brought me a copy of the book. because they had to buy a certain amount of books in order for the author to come visit. That's how author visits work sometimes. And so I was really happy that she was able to get that done, and I got a thank you gift for being willing to help. Yay! So I have a book, like I said, from that seller already, but getting to walk into this small bookstore down in the 3rd Ward, and you don't expect much when you hear 3rd Ward, but inside is absolutely gorgeous. It is a small little home-like structure, but she has used the space really well with a lot of vertical, which makes sense for books, but like it is all done very well, and it's got the old style black and white labels with the raised letters. It's all really cool, and we got to talk about some of our favorite books, and I found some to take home, of course. So I have A Girl's Guide to Love and Magic. So this one has as love, magic, it's dealing with voodoo and other cultures that I am not familiar with, so I'm excited to learn. And this is the bookmark from them, Let's Get Lit, and it is a BIPOC book festival that is occurring on Saturday, May 4th. And there's that information. And then the other book I picked up is from the horror section, and I got Spite House. So yeah, excited to read another haunted house story. I've been very much into Darcy Coates lately, but I need a break from Darcy Coates because it's starting to all kind of feel the same. Not that it's a bad thing, it's just when you read the same author repeatedly with nothing in between, it does get a little daunting, and it does start to feel almost like the same plots and stories. We also went to this other store called Basket. It's a bookstore and an art gallery. Mostly focuses on the indie publishers. A lot of poetry and a lot of art books. Let's see. Here are the 2 books I got from there. I got Little Witch Hazel. I just fell in love with the title. Not even with the artistry, the title hooked me because I have a stuffed witch that I won many years ago when I grew up in the Catholic Church, and they actually held a Halloween festival with the first preachers of the church, or first priest of the church that I was familiar with before they relocated. And they stopped after that. The church stopped approving of Halloween stuff, but I remember winning this doll for getting through the Haunted Maze, which was in our Sunday school rooms, and it was created of boxes, and there were scary sounds and lights flashing and people jumping at you, but it was a lot of fun. So when I saw the title, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta have the book to just play with my little witch. So during Halloween, that might come out. We shall see. But it's about celebrating seasons with Little Witch Hazel. So I thought that was adorably cute, and if it's a good read, I might just put it in my school library when I'm done. I also picked up Hooky, but I could only get volume 2. So today we did head back out because unfortunately Matt did purchase a book that he already owned, so we had to go return it, and so we stopped over at Barnes & Noble in the Woodlands. And I picked up Hooky Volume 1 and Volume 3. Let's see. Then we went to this other store. Do I have a receipt from them? Don't think I do, and there wasn't a... Anyways, there's this newish one over in Humble. I will also put that down in the descriptions, but it's over in Humble, Texas. It is a very, very tiny bookstore, and it focuses on mostly Black authors. There is an independent book section in there too for indie writers. And they've been in existence now for 2 years, and they're actually not far from my boyfriend's job, so that was kind of cool to find out that there was a little bookstore over there. So I would like to tell all my friends about this bookstore. Again, a very great use of the space. Even though it was tiny, it was really well done. And so I picked up a thriller novel, Whatever Happened, and I picked up a rom-com that the not the author, the owner of the store highly recommended, called Accidentally in Love. And it deals with a photographer of boudoir photography and apparently falling in love in funny ways. So it's part comedy, part romance. Gotta love a rom-com. Okay, oh, not that one. Let's see. Oh, next door to Kindred Spirits was also a comic book shop. So I stopped in there and I picked up Creepshow. There's a lot of Marvel, and the owner, he loves Marvel. He saw Matt's shirt. Matt was wearing a shirt that just said Marvel with the logo. Then Matt had showed off his tattoos, and we had fun talking about tattoos. Let's see. This one. Oh, this is from By the Book. We walked in just as the authors were cleaning up from their author fair. I didn't realize there was an author fair going on. But before I even got a chance to look around the store, which we've been in several times, this one author and I got to talking about her books, and she had one out already, so she started talking to me about it. I ended up walking out with the entire set. 3 books plus artwork. So let me show off the artwork first. First, we have a bookmark. I don't know why I just separated those words, but we have a bookmark from the author. The first book is called Storm and Flame, and this is by Mallory Wanless. It's a young adult fantasy. She also had these little props, as she calls them, her props. These are art cards of the characters, so let me get them in order. Let's see. All right, so here is the main character and her familiar, who is a lightning weasel. This is one of the other characters. So this is Lyra, I think. No, I'm sorry. Lyra is the fox here. This is Elena and Aegon. Elena is, of course, the female. Aegon is her little lightning weasel. This is Quinn and Lyra. Lyra is his familiar, and she's a fox with some fire magic and very sassy personality from what the author told me. Of course, I had to ask about the fox because, you know, my love of foxes. And the fox is actually featured on the first book. And then later in the series, we meet this character. His information's not on the back like the other two, but his familiar is an ice dragon. And then here are the 3 heroes together. So, from what I understand, this one here, she's out on her own for the first time ever, and she's having to survive in the wilderness when some guys come across her. They go to attack her, and she unleashes her magic she didn't really know that she had or had control over. And unfortunately, using that magic has now triggered the prophecy that is going to end all magic unless these 3 can stop the prophecy from coming true. So, let me show you the books. Helps if I grab the right bag. Alright, so Storm and Flame, book 1, and it is autographed. She personalized all of the books, autographs for me there in the shop. Let's see, where did it go? Oh, can I move the page? There we go. So that is book 1. Here is book 2, Blood and Destiny, also autographed and personalized. And we can see Lyra there, and there's the ice dragon and the weasel, or, yeah. And then, oh, here is By the Books bookmark. The last one is Rain and Ruin, and there are the 3 familiars again. So, originally, she thought she was just going to sell the 1 copy, but when she said she had all 3, that it was all published, I asked if she had the others with her, and I walked out with the whole set. Let's see, what else did we go? We got a sticker from By the Book. Some of these places were giving out free stickers and such, and they have a calendar of their events. Yep. Okay, on to the next. Okay, this one, we went to the Book Attic. We went there last year. It was the one that had the quirky toilet in the store and had like all the romance novels around it and such. They did move locations. So they are in a actually smaller store now, but it's the actual storefront and not, well, I guess the other one was kind of a storefront, but it was like a temporary building that was kind of like sectioned out. Anyhow, they're in a actual strip mall now, and my boyfriend found this one for me. R.L. Stine's Smile Doesn't Pay. Oh, Slime, not Smile. Helps if I read it right. Slime Doesn't Pay. I love R.L. Stine, y'all know that. And then I've been collecting books from Lindsay Sand's vampire series. So I got the one about Bitten by Cupid. So I have those. Let's see, next. Ooh. We also went to Village Books. That's where we had to go back to today to return Matt's book that he didn't realize that he actually got 2 copies of. So I picked up Squire and Knight. I've been seeing this in my local comic book shops. Been intrigued, but I kept putting it to the side and going, maybe I'll get it later. So, birthday, perfect time to get it. Now, this next one, is going to be a hard-hitting book, and this I came across during 2020 after everything dealing with George Floyd and learning to put aside my own preconceived notions and looking into different stories and different histories. This one is inspired by real-life events dealing with people that have been affected by police brutality. This one is called I Am Alfonso Jones. This is about a young boy who is having to take a train ride in the afterlife, dealing with all the emotions, the grief, the loss of life, and looking at exactly what happens when there's racism involved in lives, and that racism reigns every day, unfortunately. So this will give readers a different perspective if they're not of that culture. So I was very thankful to find a copy of that because I wanted to support a local store by buying that copy and not just getting it off of Amazon. So I'm glad I finally found a copy and now I can sit and read that. We also visited the Book Warehouse, which after visiting all the stores yesterday, I had posted a picture of Matt and I on my Instagram, and I had posted about celebrating my birthday early in the captions, and the owner said, I would have done a birthday dance for you had I known. So that is mostly used bookstores. They do have a used bookstore. They do have some new published stuff that comes in, but I actually picked up 3 things. My third thing is actually downstairs in my jewelry box. I picked up a little beaded ring of turquoise and silvery looking beads just because that's my favorite color. So I picked up Monday's Child. This is a vampire novel, vintage paperback. And another vintage paperback that I came across by Ted Pickford is Scared to Death, Bobby's Back. They gave me their button, which has their logo. This one is down over in Katy, so if you're in that area, it is an awesome bookstore. It is huge, like huge. It's a warehouse. So, they've got lots of space to go up. They have lots of space to spread out. Lots of books. I'm going to save my biggest purchase for last out of this grouping of books. So let me take you back to the bookstore that we first went to, which is our local Copperfields. We love them. We went to their author fair a couple weekends ago, and I got a bunch of cool books and merchandise, and then I actually won a basket of goodies in their raffle. I won the kids and young adult basket, so that was kind of cool. I did end up getting a book that I had already purchased at the fair, but that's cool. I can leave it in one of the free little libraries around town. So the first thing I picked up was socks, because you know me, I love a good pair of quirky fun socks. So we have Kitty Cats reading, because crazy sock day at work. Always gotta have a new pair of socks. And then I picked up this book called Diary of a Haunting. So obviously you can still see that I'm on my haunted spooky book reading kick. Although right now I am listening to on Libby, I'm listening to In Charm's Way. So I'm listening to Paranormal Romance right now. Now my biggest purchase of the whole book crawl. This was our second location, and it was Good Books in the Woods, which is a 2-story house where pretty much every room except for the room that the owner lives in has been converted into bookseller space, including the garage and the patio. Everything's been enclosed. It's just, there's so many good finds. We went there a few weeks ago, and I saw that they had a Harry Potter item. And since it is third party and none of the money is going to J.K. Rowling, I asked them what the price was. He said, well, my employee who priced it is out of town. Let me text him and see if he can respond and let me know. And then we actually had to leave before he got a response. So that was my first question walking in. I didn't even look at the rest of the books. I just said, hey, did you ever get a response on how much it is? So he calls up his employee again because they forgot to write it down. And he had already quoted me $200, and it was supposed to be $225. So he asked the employee, is it okay if I give it to her for $200? Because even though he is the boss, you know, he's been training this guy to become a bookseller, find rare books and such. So he wanted to make sure that it was okay with him before selling it to me at the $200. But I have a completely intact collector's edition of the Tales of Beetle the Bard. How cool is that? And it's only got a little bit of wear and tear here from opening it, so it won't be opened very often. I will open it just for this video. So in here are all the art prints. Most of them, when you find them for resale, are missing some art prints or the art prints are damaged. I'm going to leave it in here just because I do not want to accidentally damage them. Here is the cloth bag with J.K. Rowling's signature embroidered on it. Again, the only reason why I purchased this for my collection, aside from the fact that it's for my collection, is because it is third party and J.K. Rowling saw none of the $200 that went to buying this. And here's the cover. There's a section where it switches to the next story and so on. And the end papers. Now the, I guess maybe I should show y'all the illustrations, the illustration prints, because some of them, oh, I mean, they all deal with the story, but you'll recognize some of them. So I guess I'll do that, and I'll just be very gentle about it. Make sure I'm getting all of them all at once. There we go. Or after turn this way. Also, I guess I just laid them down and picked them up to show you. This, I think, is one of my favorites. And there you have it. I got that for a steal. Because the ones that you can find online that I was looking at for different sellers, there's one that's $80, but the front of the leather is ripped off in areas and it's not in great condition. And then other ones I found that are complete, like this one, go anywhere from $600 to $800. So complete steal if you ask me. The one I was talking about, all of this right here is just, it's speckled. It looks like that. So, we're not done. That was just from yesterday. Then today, we went to Barnes & Noble. Like I said, we were out and about returning that one book, and so we went ahead to Barnes & Noble. Of course, Matt has not learned his lesson that he cannot let me loose in a store without supervision, especially if there are books. I went ahead and I picked up Hooky, Volume 1, and then they also had Volume 3 available. So now I have Volumes 1, 2, and 3 from Hooky. And if you don't know what Hooky is, it started off as a Webtoons cartoon, and, you know, they got picked up for publication. Now, I picked up a book from a book talker. I've been following her and her account, and this book seems really interesting. Basically, she already had me hooked at tea and vampires, and I got The Tempest of Tea, or A Tempest of Tea. And then last but not least, my best friend last year for Christmas got me Lore Olympus Volumes 1 through 3, so I had to pick up Volumes 4 and 5 in hardcover. Since that's the one she got me were in hardcover, I had to get these in hardcover. Could not do the paperback. My boyfriend is rubbing off on me with his particulars with his books. I still collect paperbacks, as you can see, but if it's already started off in a series in hardback, I've got to have the rest of it in hardback. So I got them since, you know, Barnes & Noble only keeps hardback in stock for a certain amount of time now before they switch over to nothing but paperback. And that is it for my birthday book haul. So until next time, y'all have a magical... Oh, I told y'all I was going to do... sorry. We're not done yet. I was going to reveal the reason why I'm in another room and why we did my birthday celebration early. So let me just pause our... So this is why we're celebrating my birthday early and why I had to film in another room. As you can see, our bookshelves are empty and everything is being placed in boxes because unfortunately the landlord, the owner of the house, wants to sell this year. So we were planning on staying here for another year and then moving up to Dallas so that way I can finish out my degree for my master's for library science. But unfortunately we are having to move earlier than planned. So we are moving into hopefully another home in this area, or at least within Houston itself, obviously, because I've got one more year to finish up my degree. And so we don't want to move too early because I may not have the same deal that I have with my current school district, which allowed me to start working as a librarian. There's my stuffies. So they wouldn't have the same deal up in Dallas with other school districts. So one more year here in Houston, fingers crossed, then we're on our way to Dallas.